Alrighty, guys, welcome to Optimizing Forward. And where the objective is to live the one optimized life, guys. I'm gonna make a live stream here for you guys today. So haven't made a live stream in maybe 2 weeks. The last live stream I made should have went up, but it did not go up for some odd reason. So I guess what I'll talk about today is systems and routines, and I will do the wonderful whiteboard once again. Um, yeah, we're gonna do the whiteboard because why not? I was debating about whether to make a live stream today, but I'll go ahead and do one. Um, so I guess the first thing we'll talk about, right, is what are systems and routines and why do they matter, right? So obviously for the longest time known to man, I've been do systems and routines. I did it for years. I did Pomodoros, and then pretty much for I would say the last 2 years, I haven't been doing any type of structure whatsoever. Um, I'm probably going to end up going back to that again. And just because I'm kind of tired of this chaotic, I would say learning style, whatever the fuck this is. But it's kind of nice just not planning stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I pretty much have done both sides of the coin, right? I've done planning versus no planning, right? Each have pros and cons. The obvious answer is that if you don't plan things, then obviously you're gonna have more uneven distributions of accomplishment. If you write things down, then there's gonna be more deliberate and you'll more accomplish things more specifically. And that's pretty much, I don't want to say I'm forced to go back to that, but I kind of am, right? Because things aren't getting done. I was even realizing it yesterday. He's like, you know what? I'm like 29. I probably should have accomplished more by now. So I was like, yeah, we got to fix this. So yeah, we're gonna have to go back to that, and I probably will stay that way forever. For the most part, I don't see it going away. Um, do I really want to? Not really. Um, but it's a necessary evil to get results. Give me one second, guys. Shut this alarm. Shut this off here. So yeah, guys. So pretty much, uh, you know, going from planned to unplanned. What are the differences? Are the differences significant? Are they measurable? Is the performance different? And the answer, obviously, is that if you stick to a routine, a structure, almost always you're going to get better results than to be more free flowing. Whereas if you're more free flowing, you can, I would say, be more organic with the learning. You can learn when you want to learn and stop when you want to stop. But the only problem with this is that it's not comprehensive. You don't know structurally or organizationally the holes in knowledge, right? Like with chess, right? Even with chess, I've begun more and more realize that. Uh, give me one second, guys. Let me see what's going on. Um, um, so here, guys, give me one second here. I'm trying to do a lot of different stuff. Now, the other reason why, guys, I don't like being too structured is it's like a Give me one second, guys. One second, guys. I'm sorry, guys. So like one of the downsides, guys, of being too structured. Um, yeah, so like pretty much like the more you, at least in my experience, the more you uh the more you typically the more you use systems or whatever it is you're using, right, then typically what's going to tend to occur is, from my personal experience, you're going to be obsessed with trying to accomplish everything, right? That's why I don't like a to-do list. The other problem with the to-do list, as an example, is you're going to be like, okay, if I don't get all the things done on that list, then I'm a failure, right? That was, unfortunately, even right now, I wrote my first to-do list. I haven't written one in like 2 years. I'm probably going to go back to it. Do routine, clean the room, go study for the board. I studied a bit, had to cancel some bills. I lifted weights today. I have to call AT&T, and I watched one video on branch prediction theory. So these are the things I scheduled for today that needed to get done. Did I accomplish all the things I needed to get done? To the answer is no, I did not. Okay. Now it's almost like 1 in the morning and I'm still doing stuff, right? This is the unfortunate consequence of excessive, what I would describe as excessive productivity. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to go over here. The other thing to remember, right, as we're trying to live the optimized life, is that like don't confuse doing a lot of stuff with accomplishing a lot of stuff. There's no correlation between these two things. Let me repeat. Don't confuse doing a lot of stuff with you accomplishing a lot of stuff. But like if you do operate a to-do list, and if you do time, like use Pomodoro timers, I've been using those for years and years. Will you accomplish more than the average bear? Absolutely. Had I been using this for like 2 years, would I have accomplished more than what I've accomplished now? Yes and no. Like, even though I didn't follow a system, I did accomplish a lot, I would say, in terms of studying all this chess theory. I probably learned more chess theory and than most people could learn in like a year. Okay. Was that the best use of the time? Absolutely not. Did I have a priority problem? Absolutely. Okay. So it shows that, unfortunately, you have to have a structure, right? And structures are really annoying because you're like, God damn, I have to do this shit, this shit, this shit, this shit. Whereas I would rather just wake up and immediately do the thing that I want to do, right? It's two different priorities of prioritization, different methods, different mechanisms, right? But I keep realizing that it's almost inescapable. It's the same thing, even like with jujitsu training. I go in, I roll on the mat, and I'm doing so. I'm learning like a little bit, but the learning is totally ineffective. Like I'm not like learning at a high level. A certain thing I realized in the pursuit of mastery is that even though I'm trying to master stuff, I'm not learning effectively. I'm learning in a shitty manner. I'm not retaining shit. Like, so I thought about, okay, I was like, well, I woke up, I'm hurting. I did some stuff today. It was an okay day. I wasn't that productive, but like, could I have rolled better? Yes, I could have, like practiced with one partner. We could have drilled mostly technique and then rolled one time. So notice the difference. Um, Notice the difference in the structural process between the two. Or the structural process, if you will, is that I know specifically what I need to do. I know how to do it, where to do it, and why to do it. And basically, if basically, and this is the fundamental problem with basically everybody, is as long as you stick to the system, it will work. Do most people do this? Fuck no. And that is literally, I would say, the number one problem of all self improvement. We know what to improve. We know what to improve. We know why to improve it, but we just don't stick to that policy, if you will. Okay. There's a lot of reasons as to why we don't do this, right? Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons I would say in my 20s, I just simply did not accomplish as much as I should have accomplished, right? Because I wasn't sticking to these policies. I was deviating, right? Same thing with like the gym, right? I've been consistent with the gym and I get results, but when I deviate, I'm not being successful. I'm not performing at the level that I need to perform, right? So that's what I want you guys to understand about. So now I have an actual Pomodoro timer. I have it up. Now I'm back to the same structure I had for like 5 years. I got pretty good results, other than my crappy work performance. But other than that, I got most things done. I accomplished a lot of shit. I could get on runs. That's how I was able to work 70, 80 hours a week at a time. I did get burned out though. Okay. So the structure in the optimization, right, is that I'm making a structure or system to create a to-do list, to do things so I can make sense of chaos, right? But now I want to dualistically answer the question, what is the fundamental difference between the pursuit of a structure versus non-structured regimen? So I pretty much have done both paths, and my initial answer like 4 years ago when I said that the best method is almost always the structured path, and the answer is basically true. My intuition was right, of course, because I pretty much got rid of my to-do list. I got rid of my timer. I got rid of my workout binder. All I do is I just go to the gym whenever the fuck I feel like. I do as many sets as I need to. I get the fuck done, and I get in and I get out. And people are like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, whatever I want to do. And that is very liberating because I can train on my terms, right? Because one of the things that I think I developed as I was pursuing these structures is I began to hate routine. Okay. And you'd be like, Drew, you're in the army. That's one of the most routine things in the world. Absolutely. Army is a pain in the ass, by the way, but that's not the point. The point is that you begin to hate it, but you never really escape it. Okay. I don't know, like, if there's like really an answer, I really couldn't tell you because like I remember I had periods like this. I was like, I hate this routine. I hate running. I hate it all. I don't want to do it anymore. I fucking hate it. Right. Like there's days where I hate chess. I hate chess training. I hate all this stuff. Right. So it's like there's always like a type of resentment from the thing that you have to force yourself to do. Right. Like I had to study for this promotion I'm trying to get, so I hate it. It's just like I don't like doing it, right? But you have to do it, right? Or you don't like get the result. So like what does that mean exactly in terms of living the optimized life, right? Because a lot of people will say, okay, I don't want to do structure. I want to live on my terms. Yes, you can do this, but it's very difficult to accomplish the maximum. Okay. It's immensely hard to accomplish the absolute max of your capability. It can't be done through chaotic training, which is basically what I would do. I go to the gym, do some boxing. I would fucking lift weights. I got a little stronger. I mean, I trained here. I got better. I didn't know how much better. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know. I mean, I remember like I was like yesterday I was training with one of the black belts, and so I did an experiment, right? So there was this white belt. He was 2 days new, and I was like, the black belt don't want me to roll with him, but I'm gonna roll with him because I want to see, have I gotten any better? Like I would like to know, is there, does all this hard work mean anything, or is it just like you stay the same, you know? And for the most part, I basically proved that structural understanding is almost always superior to chaotic understanding. Okay. I know that is confusing, but like I was able to like pass his guard. I went to half guard to full guard, or full guard. I broke his full guard to half guard to side body, and then to full mount to top full mount. And then he basically gave up because he's like, I'm gonna tap him pretty much. And I was going to tap him. It was all but inevitable, right? I was slowly but surely um slowly but surely trying to get my arms all the way over his head, and I was going to put him in a Kimura. So notice there was like 4 phases to my thinking, and he didn't know what was going on. He put me like in a cross collar choke, and I broke the cross collar choke. And at that point, I was like, okay, I think I got better. I mean, but like I was like in a state of confusion. I was like, okay, so I think I've gotten better. Now what? You see what I'm saying? Like now what? Like what the hell does that mean? Like I did all this training and I've gotten better, but I'm so far off from being a blue belt, right? I would say probably maybe another 7 months to a year away from a blue belt, probably. Just because there's still so many holes in my knowledge, holes in submissions, holes in let's see here, holes in passing different types of guard and other different things that I'm not aware of. And because of this, I have to fill these holes through hours of self-study and hours of training. And then I would go back to the barracks. I would like go into YouTube. YouTube's pretty been my main source of learning. I'll just find some videos that I believe interest me, and I will absorb it and I will take some notes on it, watch a lecture here, and maybe that individual learns more than the person who goes through academics, but the academic structural process is just superior in my opinion. Like it's incomparable because you can't like replicate the depth of the structured training, right? The structured training that I got for 4 years at my university is incomparable. It's not even close. Like the depth of knowledge that I carry versus someone who didn't go to university is not even close. I just simply know more about everything and anything, policies, rules, structures, bureaucracies, philosophy. I'm well read and I encompass so much shit that you simply could not encompass with years of self study. Okay. And I really don't like saying that because I like being an autodidact. I like being able to study on my terms, right? But being an autodidact, in my personal opinion, is ineffective. It's an ineffective mechanism of learning. You cannot replicate the depth necessary to get to high level learning. At least in my perspective, it's almost, I don't want to say it's almost impossible, but it feels impossible. Like, because you basically have to like make a structure as if you were in school, find an adherence policy to your learning policy and learn that subject for like 5 months. I was finding I'm only learning like a subject here or there for a couple weeks and just move on. So I'm not building enough value in terms of the depth. Okay. And that is pretty much, I literally said I was gonna use a whiteboard and I haven't done it yet. It's funny. So we're gonna pull up this whiteboard so I can attempt to visualize the differences between these two things. Okay. So I guess it's not gonna be too much longer of a video. You guys get the point. You're gonna build a structure, a routine. You will follow the fucking routine, and you will probably hate the routine, guys. In my personal opinion, I think humans hate routines. I think humans hate systems. I think it's abnormal, and I've been doing systems for years, and I still hate doing it. Like I know it sounds crazy, but I still fucking hate it. I literally still hate like running, and I've ran hundreds of times. I still hate lifting weights, even though I love lifting weights. I know that sounds crazy, but like these things are very paradoxical, you know. So now I'll share the screen here. So now what I would like to visualize is our structure, right? So there was this thing I read a long time ago known as habit stacking, right? I did this, and people in self-improvement will tell you that habit stacking is a cheat code. So like guys, you can do all this stuff. Remember, the fundamental connection is that this all indirectly relates to a theoretical increase in our revenues, right? If the theoretical increase in the revenue is not occurring, then it's like, who cares, right? So also, I don't want you to confuse implementing structures and habits as a means of inevitable success. It's not the case. I had systems and routines in place like no other. I was listening to like hundreds of books at one point, running and lifting and listening to Audible. I was doing all sorts of shit. Did I become more knowledgeable than most humans? Probably. Did it equal better results? It did not. So don't consume information. Don't confuse consumption with results. Don't confuse the two. We also need to understand this fundamental difference. Don't consumption. Okay, as you make it says, don't confuse, right? Don't confuse consumption with results. So now the next part of this given process, right, is that we're gonna stack our layers, right? This is fairly simple. Layer one, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. So it's a meta structure, right? The meta structure allows us, in a way, to program our brain to do shit we don't want to do. Okay. Like tonight, I'm going to brush my fucking teeth. I noticed I was only brushing my teeth in the morning. Now we're brushing it at fucking night, whether I like it or not. Whether I like it or not, that's going to happen. And then there's always going to be a resistance. And that's a fairly common thing. Brush teeth, study more. We're going to study more. And then maybe you read a bit, right? So now all of a sudden we're starting to build a meta layer structure that's adding onto itself over time. Okay. And then each incremental period, I put 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here. And then I'm perpetually increasing my productivity output. But remember that this is only a supplement to the life. It's not a guarantee. Because if the revenues don't increase, at least in our system, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I just really want to drive that home. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have all this, right? So we have our habit stacking structure. We don't want to confuse informational consumption with results, but it will indirectly potentially increase some aspect of that result. And now, probably the final part of this video, I'm going to wrap up here, is I want to denote the difference because I can speak with 29 years of failed and differing experiences on one second here. Okay, I can't move. Whatever. So now what we're going to do is the different. Okay, I need to move this. It's not letting me move. That is super annoying. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to figure out how I can. Okay, so structured learning versus chaotic mechanisms. Versus the difference in the chaotic structure of things, right? So, in the simplest terms, the fundamental difference, right, is that we have a structured set of mechanisms that are unpleasurable, uncertain, not enjoyable, but will probably give us more measurability in the outcomes we're trying to achieve versus the oppositional state in which we have unorganized, uncharacteristic type of chaos that will breed you uneven distributions of success, but maybe more organic and less resistant. In other words, there's a more natural state of initiative. So, like if I wake up tomorrow and there's no to-do list, there's no nothing, it's all pure initiative. So, in other words, I don't give a fuck like about structures. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck it is I want to do. And in that state, or at least in that sense, you don't need to be motivated because you're just doing things that you want to do. Because at some point, you're just gonna get bored of sitting in your room all day, and you're be like, okay, I want to do something. And what do I do? I go outside, I run, or whatever it is I do. I find something, and then it's interesting, and then I learn and I study. But the fortunate flaw of this is that that inherent want, the want that occurs in that initiative, is just, at least in my experience, it just seems it doesn't have. I don't want to say it doesn't have enough discipline, but it does not have enough discipline unless it becomes an obsessive focus. So now you will know the difference between flow learning versus structured flow learning. There's a huge difference. And this is basically why professionals always destroy amateurs. In simple terms, professionals beat amateurs because they have a structured regimen that they follow, and they never fucking deviate from the fucking regimen. That's the difference between a fucking a professional versus an amateur. Okay, if you want to be a stockbroker and you're studying like 3 articles a week, and the other guy is studying five hours of articles a day every day, that's 40 hours, or that's, I think, like 35 hours of financial literacy that he can use in his cipher and trying to make a return on his investment, right? So you would be delusional to think that you're going to beat him, right? So I guess, versus structured learning is 1, 2, 3. 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 3, 3 leads to 4, 4 leads to 5, 5 leads to 6. And then in every step of the way, since humans are not computers, we're going to hate every fucking step pretty much. Now, at some point, you're going to deviate, do something stupid, and then you'll come back again and again and learn it inefficiently. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is I'm trying to show you the two different learning styles, or rather the two different organizational styles of how to live your life. I've done both. I've done structured. I've done unstructured. I live like a hobo. I've done that too. The first option is always better. Always. Never. It's never not better. I've never seen a guy that like has an awesome fucking life that does option two. Like, there's very few cases of this. Normally they're very talented. They have a superstructure from somebody else, or that structure is coming from their mind automatically, that they don't consider a structure. So basically, in my personal opinion, everyone who has an optimized life has a structure. There's no such thing as no structure. Even when I was like not structured, I still wanted to go to the gym, train chest once a day, and still have my coaching session, and then go to jujitsu at least 2 to 3 days a week, because it gave me a regimen. And when I could follow that regimen, I felt stronger, I felt more confident, I felt more capable, and I felt like I was making progress. So structure also creates progress. Let me repeat this. Structure will create a progression that will occur over time. Structure creates progress. Okay. Yeah, guys, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. This is fairly self-explanatory. Routines are just a set of habits that you try to build, and then you try to stick to those routines, right? That's all a routine is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, 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 check. And then if the assumption is that if I do this long enough, I will get success, right? That's the idea anyways. Will it happen? Probably not. If you do it enough times, will it eventually happen? Maybe. And that's pretty much the operational model I will denote with. I cannot guarantee success, right? I want you to remember this statement. I cannot guarantee any success. It's like in chess. I can't guarantee I'm going to win, right? I can play the best moves. I can try to be as proactive as I can be, but life, like a chess player or like another chess player, will resist me. They will do things to make my life miserable, and they will do stuff to make life challenging, and they will work against me. So, but I can increase the likelihood of it. Cannot guarantee success, but I can increase my likelihood. It's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee in this. Maybe, just maybe, we might be successful. Maybe. And if we are successful, then maybe we will find ourselves in a better world, a better life, rather. And then the meaning of this life is really, I guess, an open question. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. Not really sure what else I want to add here to this. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So like, I guess maybe like another thought would be like another like fucking thing people will say, oh, this person is so smart, right? That's bullshit, right? Smartness means nothing. There are more stupid people that are successful, or actually, I wouldn't even say stupid people. There are more practical people who are successful than so-called analytical people because they understand this formula very well, right? Whereas that person who thinks they're so smart can't even follow a simple things to tell themselves of what to do. It's such a basic thing to be able to tell yourself what you're going to do and follow through on that, right? This formula has no correlation to IQ. Okay. There is no fucking correlation between how smart you are, how far you get in life versus like IQ. Remove this from your mind. More books, more courses, more stuff will not make this better. Okay, let me repeat that. The only thing that will is ability, the improvement in our ability, a routine, and the increased probability of the increasing of the ability in that routine or in that performance. And then maybe IQ comes a little later, but the IQ is really not that relevant. Not really, not in particular, right? It's a humongous myth to say that IQ is really relevant. It really isn't. If there was an IQ, it would be executive IQ, your capability in executing the information in an effective capacity. That's all I have for you guys for optimizing forward. Please like, comment, subscribe, and that's all I have for you guys.